The 94 Freightliner, which is also a glider kit, meaning this is an engine that's older than the truck. This is a Cummins from the 80s that probably had its million-mile overhaul before it was put in this truck. So 1994 glider kit. This has been on the farm longer than any other truck. I drove it to my last day of high school in 1999. We had it a couple years before that, so it's been around about a quarter century. It pulls a 2010 Wilson hopper. Like all the trailers, they've got ag hoppers on them, which means they're a little higher clearance than the standard hopper. That way you don't have problems with dumps and railroad tracks and stuff like that. This trailer, we got two Wilsons. This one's got all aluminum wheels in the back and aluminum front and rear subframe also. So it's a lighter one. Electric tarp like we have on all the trailers. You get about, on average, about 1,000 bushels in each of them. We can go up here and start the truck. I hauled a load with this one this morning. Nice thing about this truck, being a 94, no computers, no emissions, no electronic stuff really. Mechanical fuel injection. So we keep it around, old, reliable. We did put some reman cylinder heads on it, 3 or 4 years ago, but other than that, it's been a pretty good truck to us. Another Freightliner, but this one's a 2006 model we picked up at an auction, I think in 2013. Wasn't going to be at the auction. It wasn't listed, but it was there the day of the auction. I actually wasn't there. I got a text from Dad that we bought a truck. It was in Mississippi where it came from and ended up at the auction. I think it was in Illinois. I don't remember. Like I said, I wasn't there, but just got a text that we bought a truck. And the trailer it pulls is also a Wilson, pretty much the same side panels as the other one here. This one's a 2008. We bought them at the same time. No aluminum subframe on this one, but it does run super single tires, and these are pretty new. We had one blowout 2 years ago, I think, during wheat harvest. And when we put the new one on to replace that, it was about a half inch or so taller than the rest of them, so we replaced them all. So other than the one blowout, the super singles haven't given us any issues, so we decided to keep running them again. They're kind of nice. The way the wheels are made, it's all dirty now because we've been driving in the salt and snow. They don't hold water, where these, they hold water and get stains in them if you don't dry the water out of them, so that's kind of nice. This is the easiest one with the hoppers to open and close because it's got the traps with the straps on them. Electric tarp, just like the other two main trailers, I should say. There's 3 trucks we run all the time, then we got one more to look at after that. So if you look inside, so we got the 2006 interior. Looks like this. And then if we hop back down, back to the 94, nothing changed. They've got the same dash in them. Pretty well the same truck as far as that goes. Oh, I didn't mention this is a 9-speed here in the red truck, 10-speed transmission in the white truck, and this is running a 450 horse Mercedes under the hood, and we have really liked this motor. When we first got it, the EGR had to be replaced, and maybe 2 years ago we put some AC lines on it. Other than that, under the hood's been really solid on this one. We can go ahead and fire it up as well. Same procedure as the red one. Power on, hit the button. So you got two Freightliners here. Let's go check out something a little different. The third main grain hauler, 2006 International 8600, pulling a 2014 Stoughton hopper. So not a Wilson, but a Stoughton, but we saw this one and liked it and picked it up. Actually at the Wilson dealer is where it was at, looking at their used trailers. So we can take a look at this one. This one is set up a little different, a little less truck-like on the interior, or classic truck-like, I guess, like the Freightliners. It's comfortable to drive. Has a one-piece glass, no divider in the middle of the windshield, so that is a nice feature. It has an ISM Cummins, 410 horse. Runs a 10-speed transmission like the 06 Freightliner, but 10th gear is pretty well useless the way the rear end is geared on this thing. I have the build sheet somewhere. I want to say it's 355 rear end. It's 410 horse, so it's actually probably a little more than the red truck and 40 horse less than the white Freightliner. But the way it's geared just doesn't have as much grunt, and it's the ISM, not the ISX. So I guess it's kind of the small block version. So it just doesn't have as much grunt as the other two. But let's start this one up. It's a little different. I got to be here in the cab so I can push the clutch in. This one usually cranks a little longer. There we go. Always starts though. Get out, check her out. We've had to fix some stuff on this one since we bought it. It replaced an International 9200 that got wrecked, unfortunately. Totaled that one out. Bought this one. It had some coolant leaks, and we'd fix a leak and move on down the line. There'd be another leak, so it seems like we just kept finding the next weakest link. Our mechanic seems to think it was overheated maybe once in its life before we got it, and that was not addressed, but it's been pretty trouble-free for about a year. We also had to put heads on this one. We had some issues with that, and we've kind of put a lot of money in repairs in this one. There's an auction coming up this week. We may replace this one. An auction starting in 2 days. Online auction runs for a week. Actually looking at a, I forget, 2006 or 2007 Western Star. It's a brown metallic color. Very clean truck. Only 120,000 miles. One owner, I think, on a farm all its life. We'll see what it goes for. It's got the same 450 horse Mercedes as the 2006 Freightliner. Hood open and closes easier on this one. See, it's a little hard to see the engine. It actually goes back in the cab a little bit, sits back farther. The Stoughton here has the best tarp in my opinion. We had that added when we bought it. Of course, it's the latest version of tarp at the time when we bought it. It's just one touch and goes. The red truck, you got to hold the button. I know, tough life, electric tarp, but anymore, everywhere we go, if you got electric tarp, you only have to get out the truck at the dump, so it speeds things up. We're not the biggest fans of the traps on this one. There's actually two doors in there that kind of slide over the top of each other, and as much as we're cleaning out for waxy corn, seed beans, popcorn, all that kind of stuff, you can get grains trapped in between those two doors that slide over each other. So we got to make sure we get those cleaned out, and they make the door hard to open. And this trailer does have an aluminum rear frame like the 2010 on the red truck. The front is not aluminum, but the rear is. And this one is black, where the others are silver. I do like, it's got these little small LED lights. They kind of disappear when you step away. So I think that looks nice. Polished on the back. So if we were to get something different, this truck and trailer combo would be the first to go. We're looking at truck more than trailer right now. And we got this dump truck for hauling rocks and trash or whatever we need to do with it, move stuff around, take it somewhere else, dump it. This is an International 4900. Nice little dump truck. Has the trusty DT 466 motor in it. It's been pretty good to us. We had to put injectors in it a few years ago, but they were pretty cheap, like 120 bucks a piece. I think my Dodge pickup would cost about $3,000 to do that. So the bed here goes back to row truck. Some of you locally will know that. This is, I believe, the third truck that bed has been on. It was on an International, and then it was on a Chevy C50, I think. And now it's on this guy. I'm not gonna try and start it because it's sitting here not plugged in because we're not planning on using it anytime soon, and it's like 10 degrees outside. We built a tailgate for it at some point. It's actually the bottom of a steel storage tank, and then we braced it up with some channel. But yeah, it's there for, we load this thing up with rocks from the field in case they bash into it. It's a little tougher than the like sheet metal one that was on there before. Fancy handle to lock the tailgate in, and old breaker bar. Socket welded on it onto a pipe that goes through there. So you just pull that pin out, flip it over, and your tailgate's unlatched, and then you can use the chain, hook it on here, and, you know, spill out gravel down the lane or whatever if you want to. Not going to start it because it's cold and not plugged in today. Like I said, it's so cold outside. So, but there's the motor if you want to see it. Mostly the injection pumps, what you see on this side. But there it is. And everybody likes this one, the International Cab Over 4070, the 290 Cummins. It's got a Dorsey steel trailer on it. It may be a 1976 as well. This one is neither plugged in block heater or trickle charger, and it hadn't moved since harvest. So now that it's middle of February, it's actually Valentine's Day. I punched the starter, it didn't like it, so I'm not gonna start this one, but I probably have some other footage of it running I can splice in here. See in the cab there. This one does not come out very much. Usually just for popcorn harvest, we run 4 trucks, or like during harvest, one of the other 3 would go down. We'll pull this one out. Probably swap it onto one of the other hoppers because they hold a little more than this Dorsey does. We can get in here, it's kind of dark. So we got the sleeper back there. Used to hang out in there when I was a kid. There's your dash. Got the diamond upholstery in here. Kind of over the tunnel for the engine there, and on the ceiling and everything. The old CV up there. Little story about the trailer. If you look, you see it's got 4 crank handles, so it's got 4 hoppers in it, so it's pretty divided up. This used to be our seed tender back in the day. We had a blower on tracks that went under the hoppers, and we would use that to fill the planter. And it was powered with like a Briggs & Stratton motor that sat in the compartment back inside this door here. And it was originally a flatbed trailer, and Dorsey converted it into what it is now. Someday I'll get around to talking about these other things that are sitting in the barn with the cab over.